guys, it's Sam, and today I want to talk about my N.E.W.T.S Readathon TBR. So as many of you are probably familiar because it's a very popular readathon, the magical readathon happens a few times a year, but usually revolving around the owls and the newts testing from Hogwarts from Harry Potter, obviously. This readathon involves prompts that follow a certain magical career, and you pick books based on those prompts. The N.E.W.T.S, since they are the second test that happens in the Harry Potter world, play off of the first test, which is the owls, and that readathon happened in April of this year. So this is the second part of it. I'm gonna link Book Roast video down below though, so you can get all of the information if you aren't already familiar with this readathon. Many of you will be. It's very popular. Every time I start filming, this cat wants to rub on my legs, rub on the tripod, rub on the, like, can you hear? She's a loud purr, so she's purring. And she was resting comfortably until I started filming, and so then I have to go and lock her in a bedroom because she wants to, like, rub her face on the tripod and make the camera shake. She bad. Okay, so for the Owls Readathon, when I participated in that back in the spring, I was going for a couple of different careers that kind of aligned with, like, a therapy type career. Didn't end up getting those because I kind of just went for random prompts, and then it ended up where I didn't get the prompts I needed for the different ones that I was going for. So I have a lot of careers that I could do based on the books that I had read and the scores that I'd gotten and things like that. I had 4 different careers that I was maybe interested in, and I wrote out all the prompts and like what books would match and whatever. And surprisingly, I decided to go for the herbologist career because in the last couple of weeks, as many of you know if you follow me on Twitter, I have gotten into plants. I just want to have lots of plants, and I was like, you know what? I have this as a possible career. I like the books that it matched me up with for all the prompts for this career, and it's a manageable amount. It's 6 because I haven't had a lot of time to read. So I decided to go for that one. It was between that one, Magi, Zoologist, Potioner, which was going to have a lot of big books in it based on the stuff that I have on my shelf, and then Seer, which was too little. It was only 3 books. So I decided to go with Herbologist because plants are running my life right now, so why not do it in a magical setting as well? So for Herbologist, you have to get an O in Herbology, and that is 3 tiers of books. So you have to get an A, an E, and an O, so you have to go through the prompts that way, and you can't read the O book before the A book, things like that. So to get an A, I have to read an audiobook. For this, I'm actually going to go with Amberlow by Laura Elena Donnelly. I do have a physical copy because they're gorgeous, but I think the audio is going to be really good for me. I listened to a sample of this, and it seems like it's going to be something I'm going to be into. I've struggled with audiobooks recently. I've actually DNF'd 2 audiobooks this month. You'll hear about that in my wrap-up, but I'm hoping that this one I'll really like and I'll be able to get through this for that challenge. Then to get an E, you have to read a book between 350 and 390 pages. For this, I'm going with 10,000 Doors of January by Alex Harrow. This is a portal fantasy. It's a girl that finds like a magical door, goes to a different fantasy world, things like that, and it's fairly short, and it's one I've been wanting to read anyway, so I'm picking some nice short reads for this readathon. Even though it's a month long, I'm trying to keep it well contained so that I can get through a lot of things this month. Then to get an O, you have to read a book with a flower on the cover. For this, I'm going with Midsummer's Mayhem by Rajani LaRocca. This is our Book N.E.W.T.S, one of our Book N.E.W.T.S book club books for this year. So Book N.E.W.T.S is happening in September. I will leave information for it down below if you want to come. It's a bookish community event. We're gonna have authors and a book prom and panels and workshops and a collab room and social events, and you should really come. But anyway, this is one of the book club books, and this has lots of little florals and stuff on the cover. This is also a middle grade story, so I think it will be really easy to get through as well. This cover is one of the cutest covers I've ever seen. Like, I don't read a lot of middle grade, but I know their covers are always beautiful. So the next class, I need to achieve an E in Potions. So to achieve an A in Potions, I have to read a friend's favorite book. Now, I don't think I own anybody's favorite books on my shelf that I need to read, but this one I think comes pretty close, and that is Reincarnation Blues by Michael Poore. This was lent to me by Sam from Will Read for Booze, one of my good friends, and it is one of her favorites, I believe, and she lent this to me because this is about a man that falls in love with death, so it's like a, not a Hades and Persephone quite, but you know, I've talked about my feelings about like the relationship between life and death, people that have a connection to death, whatever. So I've put this off for quite some time because I've other things that I've needed to read, and she's fine with that, but now is a good time to read it and a good prompt for that exactly. You're welcome, Sam. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Then to get an E, you have to read a book with a cover that's the same color as your house color. I'm a Slytherin, so I have to read a book with a green cover. I have 2 selections for this, so I'm gonna choose based on my mood at the time. And that is The Wise and the Wicked by Rebecca Podos, which is a YA standalone that has some Eastern European folklore and stuff mixed in. And then Storm of Locusts by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is the second book in a urban fantasy series, adult urban fantasy series that has Navajo folklore and culture and stuff. It's post-apocalyptic, and all the Navajo kind of walled themselves off magically, but within the area that they're in, there's all these Navajo gods and everything. Like, their magic came back, basically. So that's really cool. But both of them have green-ish type covers. I actually don't have any books that have like true Slytherin green covers, but these have this like blue-green. This one's slightly more green maybe. But anyway, there's green. There's green, and this one, there's green going on. So depending on my mood, I'll pick one of these. In the last class, I need to achieve an A in Care of Magical Creatures. And the prompt to get an A is to read a book that starts with the letter A, so that would be Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. Short little book in comparison to most of Brandon Sanderson's books, but this is the first book in the second era of Mistborn. I've read the first Mistborn trilogy. I really want to get back into the Cosmere anyway. I've been like craving Cosmere because I've read some other stuff of Brandon Sanderson, didn't love it, it wasn't Cosmere. So now it's time to get back in Cosmere. So this is a nice, again, short one. I've been meaning to read this for a while. Perfect prompt for it, because again, I have to read a book with an A. This is one of the only books I have with an A. So that is it for my N.E.W.T.S TBR. I think I could get a lot of books read next month. I have, like, this is all very achievable. I didn't pick any books that are like giant tomes for this because I didn't need to do that. A giant book takes me like 2 weeks to read. This way I can hopefully get through a lot of these. So comment down below, let me know if you're participating in N.E.W.T.S Readathon and what career you have chosen, and if there's a book from all the prompts that you're extra excited to read. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.